There are very few films that I recall seeing in the theater and screaming at the screen, shouting, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And back in 2015, this movie had several of those moments. And I remember sitting next to my wife at the moment who did not like this movie, mind you. So it was a little awkward, but like, well, you may laugh, but that other film I recall was 1995's Desperado from Robert Rodriguez, which I
Yeah.
just remember having a blast with
Yeah.
because it was so entertaining and
A
so over the
very
top.
different movie,
It was
but
very different.
good movie.
So at the top, I just want to say, what I love most about this film is that it feels like an independent film. Yes,
Yeah.
I know where we're in the future and probably an alternate reality, but I feel like if Universal Studios, Disney, or another big studio had their hands all over this, it would have that look and feel of a big conglomerate behind it. And I love the fact that this film feels like a singular vision from a master craftsman.
Yes.
There's not a whiff of product placement. I don't feel like I'm being sold Coke or Apple products.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know that if George Miller wasn't behind this, you would see old Coke bottles or repurposed iMac doing something in this movie,
Yeah,
and you
that's
don't
a
see
great point.
you don't see any of this. So saying Fury Road has amazing action is an understatement, and we've all talked about this already. But for me, what sets this film apart from any action film is that it's not just action for the sake of action.
Right.
Immediately, we're thrown into this chase slash escape film, and but
Mhm.
we're riding through the desert, and George Miller is weaving story in the entire time and
Yeah.
character development. I've watched so many films over the years, and when it comes to these types of scenes, I find myself looking at my watch, praying for it just to wrap up so we can get back to the plot. Because it's
Mhm.
rare that you see, anything new under the sun. Fury Road has great action moments, but it's not always necessarily doing anything new with action. I just think it's painting with a much broader brush. But because Miller has planted the seeds with great storytelling and where we
Mhm.
care about Max and Furiosa and Nux and the brides. Well, maybe to some extent, I think perhaps my only gripe with the movie is with how they use the brides or the
Mhm.
wives in this movie a little bit. But even some of the mini bosses, which I think they flesh out in with some great characterizations, I'm invested in this movie like a cat watching a laser pointer every single moment of this.
Yes,
This
same.
this is a 5-star movie.